Not because circumstances suddenly change, but because the inner posture changes. That moment is now. This is the turning point. Not tomorrow, not after more effort, not after more signs. The shift happens when you decide to receive without fear. Most people are not blocked from receiving because they lack desire or worthiness. They are blocked because they are still bracing themselves for disappointment. They want, yet they guard. They imagine, yet they doubt. They ask, yet they remain tense, as if life must be wrestled into cooperation. But fulfillment does not respond to force, it responds to acceptance. The world you see is not a cause, it is an echo. It reflects what has already been accepted inwardly as true. When you change what you quietly assume, the reflection must follow. This is not hope, it is law. And the turning point comes when you stop checking, stop chasing, and stop fearing what might happen if you truly let yourself receive. Fear says, what if it doesn't work? Faith says, it is already done. Fear keeps you rehearsing loss. Faith allows you to rest in completion. The moment you move from anxious wanting into calm expectancy, something extraordinary happens. You are no longer trying to get, you are allowing what already belongs to you to arrive. Receiving without fear means you no longer ask life to prove itself to you. You prove your trust by how you feel now. You no longer wait for permission from circumstances. You give yourself permission internally by feeling the reality of fulfillment in the present moment. When the feeling changes, the direction of life changes with it. Do not underestimate the power of a settled mind. A mind that assumes success without excitement or panic. A heart that knows without demanding evidence. This quiet knowing is creative. It moves things unseen. It rearranges paths, conversations, and timing effortlessly. And effortlessly, this is why the present moment is so important. You are not preparing to live, you are living now. The feeling you occupy now is the seed of what must appear. When you feel safe to receive, when you feel natural about being fulfilled, when joy feels ordinary rather than distant, the world has no choice but to conform. This is the turning point because you are no longer asking, will it happen? You are saying, it is happening. You are no longer measuring distance between yourself and your desire. You are closing that distance by assumption. You are not waiting for confidence to arrive from the outside. You are choosing certainty within. Let go of the idea that receiving requires struggle. Let go of the belief that happiness must be earned through exhaustion. What is meant for you responds to alignment, not anxiety. When fear leaves, resistance leaves. When resistance leaves, flow begins. Stand here now, inwardly fulfilled, quietly confident, deeply at ease. Let receiving feel safe. Let success feel normal. Let peace feel deserved. From this state, life moves swiftly and gracefully. This is the turning point. Receive without fear, and let what you have accepted inwardly reveal itself outwardly, naturally and inevitably. The moment of change begins within, not outside. Every transformation that appears in the visible world is first conceived and accepted in the unseen. People often wait for circumstances to shift before they allow themselves to feel different, but this approach keeps them trapped in repetition. Life does not respond to what you wish for, it responds to what you assume to be true. The inner state is the cause, and the outer experience is only its effect. When you look to the outside for permission to change, you surrender your creative authority. You begin to believe that events, people, or timing hold the power to decide how you feel. Yet the truth is simpler and far more empowering. The world mirrors your inner posture. If you feel delayed, life reflects delay. If you feel fulfilled, life arranges fulfillment. The moment you shift the feeling within, the direction of your life must change accordingly. Inner change is not about forcing positive thoughts or denying what you see. It is about gently relocating your sense of reality. Instead of asking, when will it happen, you begin to feel it has happened. This inner acceptance is subtle, calm, and natural. There is no strain in it, just as you do not question your own name. True inner change carries a quiet certainty. Once this certainty is assumed, the outer world has no choice but to reorganize itself around it. Most people remain stuck because they try to fix the reflection instead of the source. They work harder, wait longer, and hope more intensely, believing effort alone will bring change. But effort without inner alignment only reinforces struggle. The moment you change the inner assumption from lacking to having, from waiting to receiving, you interrupt the old pattern. This interruption is the real turning point. Within you is a constant creative activity taking place. Every feeling you repeatedly occupy impresses itself upon life. Anxiety invites more reasons to worry. Confidence invites cooperation. Peace invites resolution. The outer world is obedient, not selective. It does not judge whether your assumptions are wise or unwise. It simply expresses them. This is why awareness is so powerful. When you become conscious of your inner state, you gain the ability to direct your experience deliberately. Change within does not require time, it happens in an instant. The instant you decide to accept a new inner position. Time is only needed for the outer world to rearrange itself. The seed is planted immediately, the visible growth follows in its own rhythm. Impatience only means you are still looking outward for proof. Trust means remaining inwardly aligned even when appearances lag behind. When you understand that change begins within, you stop begging life and start cooperating with it. You no longer ask the world to make you feel secure. You generate that security from within. From this inner stability, actions become inspired rather than desperate, and outcomes flow naturally. The moment you claim your inner authority, everything begins to move. What once felt distant starts to approach. What once resisted begins to yield. Not because the world changed first, but because you did. Fear dissolves when assumption becomes certainty. Fear survives only in the space of uncertainty, where the mind wavers between hope and doubt. It feeds on questions like, what if it fails? Or what if I am wrong? But the moment an assumption is accepted as fact, fear loses its foundation. Certainty is not loud or emotional. It is calm, steady, and unquestioning. Where certainty lives, fear cannot remain. Most fear is not about what is happening now, but about imagined outcomes that have not yet occurred. The mind rehearses possibilities and gives them emotional weight, turning shadows into threats. This happens because the inner position is undecided. When you do not know internally what to expect, the mind fills the gap with worry. But once you decide what is true for you, the mind stops wandering. It rests. That rest is the absence of fear. Assumption is powerful because it directs expectation. Whatever you assume to be real begins to shape how you perceive, feel, and respond. If you assume struggle, you scan for obstacles. If you assume success, you notice openings. Certainty does not mean you see immediate evidence. It means you no longer need evidence to feel secure. This is the shift that dissolves fear. Not controlling outcomes, but trusting the inner decision you have already made. When assumption becomes certainty, your emotional state stabilizes. You no longer swing between excitement and despair. You stop asking others for reassurance. You stop checking signs. You stop measuring progress. These behaviors are symptoms of fear, not solutions to it. Certainty ends the need to monitor because you are no longer waiting for permission to believe. You have already decided. This certainty is created through inner agreement. You quietly accept an idea about yourself or your life and treat it as settled. There is no argument, no inner debate. Just as you do not fear whether the sun will rise tomorrow, you do not fear the outcome you have inwardly accepted. It feels natural, expected, and ordinary. This ordinariness is what makes it powerful. Fear often disguises itself as caution or realism, but in truth, it is resistance to acceptance. It resists committing to a new assumption because it feels safer to remain undecided. Yet, indecision is the very state that produces anxiety. The mind cannot relax until it knows what story it is living in. Certainty gives it that story. As certainty deepens, your reactions change. Situations that once triggered panic now pass without disturbance. Delays no longer threaten you. Opinions lose their power over you. This is not because nothing can go wrong, but because your inner reference point has shifted. You are no longer anchored to external conditions. You are anchored to an inner knowing. Fear dissolves not through effort, but through decision. The decision of what you accept as true. When assumption hardens into certainty, the mind stops fighting the future and starts cooperating with it. In that cooperation, fear quietly fades away, replaced by calm, expectancy, and inner peace. What you accept as true must express itself. This is not a matter of chance or belief, but a natural unfolding of inner agreement. Life continuously moves to reflect what is held inwardly as reality, not what is wished for, not what is occasionally imagined, but what is quietly and consistently accepted as true. The inner acceptance is the seed. The outer experience is the inevitable harvest. Most people think expression begins with action, yet action is always secondary. Before anything appears in the world, it first becomes established in consciousness. The moment you accept an idea as fact, your thoughts, emotions, reactions, and decisions begin to align with it automatically. You do not force this alignment. It happens because the mind seeks consistency. Life, in turn, mirrors that consistency back to you. Acceptance is powerful because it removes inner conflict. When you are divided, wanting something while doubting it, you send mixed signals. The world reflects that confusion as delay, resistance, or instability. But when you settle inwardly, when you decide that something is already so, the struggle ends. There is no longer a need to convince, prove, or defend. The inner argument is over and expression begins. What you accept as true shapes your identity. Identity governs behavior effortlessly. A person who accepts themselves as confident does not rehearse confidence, they act from it naturally. In the same way, When you accept fulfillment, success, or peace as part of who you are, life arranges circumstances that confirm that identity. Expression is not something you chase, it follows you. This process is subtle and often misunderstood because it does not rely on visible effort. People look for dramatic signs, immediate results, or external validation. Yet expression works quietly. Inner acceptance alters perception first. You begin to notice opportunities you once ignored. You respond differently to situations. Your timing improves. Conversations unfold more smoothly. These shifts seem ordinary, but they are the channels through which expression takes place. Doubt does not stop expression. Acceptance does. Even negative assumptions express themselves faithfully. This is why repeated worry often manifests as repeated problems. Life is not selective, it is responsive. It takes whatever is impressed upon consciousness and gives it form. Understanding this removes the idea of punishment or reward. There is only correspondence. Once you understand that acceptance leads to expression, you become more deliberate with your inner agreements. You stop entertaining ideas that contradict what you desire. You do not fight them. You simply refuse to accept them as final. Instead, you return to the assumption that aligns with your chosen reality. Over time, this assumption stabilizes and becomes natural. Expression also requires patience, not because it is slow, but because it unfolds in sequence. The inner shift happens instantly. The outer world rearranges itself through events, people, and timing. Impatience only means you are checking the mirror instead of trusting the source. True acceptance remains steady regardless of appearances. What you accept as true must express itself, because life cannot do otherwise. When the inner decision is made and maintained, the outcome is already determined. The outer world may take its path, but it will arrive at the destination you have inwardly claimed. Receiving is an inner permission, not an outer effort. Many people exhaust themselves trying to earn what is already available to them. They push, strive, and struggle, believing that effort alone opens the door to fulfillment. Yet effort without inner permission only creates resistance. Life responds not to how hard you try, but to how open you are to receive. Inner permission begins with worthiness. At a subtle level, many people desire abundance, love, or success, while quietly believing they must suffer first or prove themselves more. This hidden belief becomes a barrier. You may take action, but the inner door remains closed. When you give yourself permission to receive, you dissolve the idea that fulfillment must be delayed. You accept that it is safe, natural, and allowed for you now. Outer effort is often a disguise for inner doubt. When you do not fully believe you can receive, you compensate by doing more. You chase validation, force outcomes, and monitor progress anxiously. This creates tension, and tension signals lack. Inner permission, by contrast, is relaxed. It says, I am available. It does not mean inaction. It means inspired action rather than desperate movement. Receiving is not something you convince the world to give you. It is something you allow yourself to accept. The moment you stop resisting the idea of having, life finds ways to deliver. Resistance is subtle. It shows up as guilt, fear of change, fear of loss, or fear of responsibility. Until these are released, effort alone cannot produce lasting results. Inner permission is granted through acceptance. You accept yourself as someone who can have good things without apology. You accept fulfillment as normal rather than extraordinary. This acceptance changes your emotional tone. You feel calmer, safer, and more grounded. From this state, opportunities flow naturally because you are no longer pushing against life. The mind plays a crucial role in receiving. What you repeatedly tell yourself about what is possible becomes the boundary of your experience. If you assume receiving is difficult, it will be. If you assume it is natural, it becomes so. The outer world faithfully follows the inner script. Changing the script changes the experience. When you give yourself inner permission, you also stop interfering with the process. You no longer try to control every detail. You trust timing. You trust movement. You trust that what is meant to reach you will do so through appropriate channels. This trust creates space, and space allows things to arrive. Many people confuse effort with commitment. Commitment is inner alignment. Effort is often inner resistance. True commitment feels steady and calm. It does not rush. It does not beg. It stands firm in the knowing that receiving is not something to fight for, but something to allow. Receiving as inner permission shifts your entire relationship with life. You stop approaching it as a battle and start experiencing it as a cooperation. What once felt heavy becomes lighter. What once felt distant begins to draw near. When you allow yourself to receive inwardly, the outer world responds effortlessly. Not because you worked harder, but because you finally opened the door. The present feeling determines the future experience. Every moment, whether you are aware of it or not, you are setting the tone for what comes next through the state you occupy now. Life does not respond to your words or wishes as much as it responds to your dominant feeling. Feeling is the language through which the unseen becomes visible, the bridge between inner awareness and outer manifestation. Many people believe the future will change how they feel, but in truth, how you feel now is what creates the future. When you wait for circumstances to improve before allowing yourself to feel peace, joy, or confidence, you postpone fulfillment indefinitely. The present moment is the only creative moment. It is here that impressions are formed and carried forward into experience. Feeling is more than emotion. It is a sense of reality. It is how true something feels to you. When an idea feels real, it begins to act like a fact in your life. If you feel secure, life organizes around security. If you feel uncertain, situations arise that mirror uncertainty. The feeling you consistently return to becomes the pattern life follows. This is why fleeting positive thoughts do not create lasting change. What matters is the feeling you live in, not the feeling you visit occasionally. A brief moment of hope, followed by hours of worry, still plants worry as the dominant seed. But when you choose a feeling and remain loyal to it, even quietly, it begins to solidify. Over time, it becomes your normal state, and life reflects it naturally. The present feeling also shapes perception. Two people can experience the same situation and have completely different outcomes, simply because they feel differently within. One feels defeated and sees obstacles. The other feels confident and sees opportunities. The situation itself is neutral. It is the inner feeling that determines the meaning and the result. Changing the present feeling does not require changing circumstances. It requires changing interpretation. Instead of reacting automatically, you pause and ask, how would I feel if this were already resolved? Then you gently step into that feeling. This is not pretending, it is rehearsing reality. The body and mind respond as if the outcome were already secured, and this response sets future events in motion. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. You do not need overwhelming emotion. A quiet, steady feeling held repeatedly is far more effective than dramatic highs and lows. Calm confidence, peaceful expectancy, and relaxed assurance are creative states. They indicate acceptance, and acceptance allows movement. As the present feeling stabilizes, the need to control the future fades. You no longer worry about how or when. You trust the process because you are aligned with the outcome inwardly. This alignment influences choices, timing, and interactions in ways you may not consciously notice, but which guide events toward fulfillment. The future is not something you enter, it is something you grow into from the present. Each moment of feeling is a brushstroke on the canvas of experience. Choose the feeling you wish to live in, and life will faithfully paint the picture to match it. Remember, the future is an effortless procession. The future is not something you enter because nothing can stop it. It takes decision. The future is not something you enter because nothing you can stop it. It takes decision. The future is not something you enter because nothing can stop it. The future is not something you enter because nothing can stop it. It takes decision. The future is not something you enter because nothing can stop. Calm expectancy is the language of fulfillment. It is the quiet confidence that knows without needing to see, the relaxed awareness that what has been accepted inwardly is already in motion. Fulfillment does not respond to urgency or emotional strain. It responds to inner alignment. When the mind is calm and the heart expects without tension, life begins to cooperate effortlessly. Most people approach desire with excitement mixed with anxiety. They hope, but they also fear disappointment. This inner conflict creates restlessness, and restlessness signals lack. Calm expectancy is different. It carries no desperation. It does not rush the process or demand immediate proof. It simply assumes that what is expected will arrive in its proper way and time. This calm state is powerful because it reflects certainty. Just as you expect the sun to rise without emotional effort, calm expectancy treats fulfillment as natural. There is no inner debate, no constant checking. The mind is settled. When the mind is settled, resistance dissolves and fulfillment finds a clear path. Calm expectancy also changes how you move through life. You are no longer reacting from fear or impatience. Your actions become measured and intuitive. You speak differently. You listen more. You notice opportunities without forcing them. This is not passivity, it is precision. You are aligned, so your responses are effective rather than exhausting. And the absence of strain is what allows things to come together. Strain tightens perception and narrows possibilities. Calm expectancy expands awareness. It creates mental space, and in that space solutions appear. People arrive at the right time. Circumstances shift subtly but meaningfully. These changes often seem coincidental, but they are the natural result of inner harmony. Waiting without calm is painful. Waiting with expectancy is peaceful. The difference lies in trust. Calm expectancy trusts the inner decision that has already been made. It does not argue with appearances. It understands that visible reality is catching up to an inner conclusion. This understanding keeps the emotional state steady even when there is a delay. Fulfillment is not attracted by intensity. It is allowed by receptivity. Calm expectancy signals openness. It says, I am ready and I am not afraid. Fear blocks reception by bracing against loss. Calm expectancy removes that brace. It allows life to deliver without resistance. This state also protects you from discouragement. When you expect calmly, setbacks do not feel final. They are seen as temporary movements, not ultimate outcomes. This perspective preserves faith without effort. You remain inwardly fulfilled, even before outer fulfillment appears. Cultivating calm expectancy is a practice of returning to inner stillness. When doubt arises, you do not fight it. You gently re-anchor yourself in the assumption of completion. You remind yourself that fulfillment is not something to chase, but something unfolding. In calm expectancy, you live as though the answer has already been given. This inner posture speaks louder than words. It is the language life understands, and it is the state through which fulfillment naturally expresses itself. As we come to the end of this message, remember that every principle shared points to one simple truth. Your life changes the moment you change within. The turning point is never outside of you. It appears when you decide what is true, when fear gives way to certainty, when receiving becomes permission rather than effort, and when your present feeling aligns with the fulfillment you desire. Calm expectancy is not waiting in hope. It is resting in knowing. From this inner state, life has no choice but to respond. You do not need to struggle, chase, or force anything into being. What you accept as real will express itself. What you feel now is shaping what you will experience next. Choose peace over pressure, certainty over fear, and inner alignment over outer effort. Stand quietly confident in what you have claimed inwardly,